Today is the 1st of June. I have some homemade peach lemonade I made yesterday. That obviously can mean only one thing. It's May Wrap-Up June TBR time. Hi guys, it's Sam, and today I'm here to do my May wrap-up. I can't believe that it is already June. I don't know where this year is going. I don't even know where May went. I feel like I was just filming my April wrap-up, but here we are. It is the 1st of June, so I am here today to tell you guys what I read in the month of May and what I hope to get read in the month of June. So if you guys have been following my channel for a while, particularly this past year, then you will know that I start my monthly wrap-ups up with some statistics because I love numbers. I am an accountant. So just a breakdown of what I read in numbers. So let us get started first on the statistics. So in the month of May, I read a total of 8 things. I read 6 novels and 2 graphic novels. I read a total of 2,271 pages, which is about 74 pages a day. Of the books that I read, 4 were trade paperbacks, 1 was hardcover, and 1 was an ebook. Of the books that I read, 5 were from male authors, 3 were from female authors, and from the geographical location of where the book was published and where the author was from, 5 were from the United States, 2 were from Canada, and 1 was from France. This month, I gave 3 books 5 stars, 1 book 4.5 stars, 1 book was 4 stars, 1 was 3 stars, and 2 of them were 2 stars. Of the books that I read this month, the vast majority were published between the years 2010 and 2014, with 1 book being from the early 1900s. In terms of genre, I read 2 graphic novels, 3 fantasy books, 1 fiction book, and 1 YA fantasy book, and 1 steampunk. Also, in terms of where I stand in my Goodreads reading challenge, I had a goal of 100 books, and so far, as of the beginning of June, I have read a total of 41, so I'm almost halfway to my 100 book goal, which is very exciting, so I should be meeting it, although I don't take the Goodreads goal too seriously. It's just kind of a fun way to challenge yourself, in my opinion, so I'm pretty happy about that. So now that I've kind of given you guys a breakdown of the statistics of what I read this month, I will now get into the actual books that I read this month. So the first book that I finished in May was actually a book that I started in June but didn't get very far in, and that was The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. Black Prism is a very unique fantasy novel in that it features a very unique magic system. So in this novel, this magic system is based on light and colors. So people can use power by taking in colors from the world around them. But most people can only control one color. So there are people who are blues, and they can take the color blue that they see with their eyes, take it and use it in different ways. And each color has a different property. Some people are called biochromes, and they can use more than one color, and you can tell what color somebody uses by looking at the iris of their eyes. So it's a really interesting, unique magic system. And this book follows multiple characters. The first one being Kip, who is a young teenage boy. You start out the book, his entire village has been killed by this man who has declared himself king. It follows Gavin, who is the Prism. And the Prism is a person that can control all the colors. He has the ability to use all of the colors. He's not limited to just 1 or 2. And he's the head of the school and basically this entire society in general. And then it follows Karis, who is in the guards. She kind of has a relationship with Gavin. There's a history there. And basically the story follows mainly these 3 characters. And they end up meeting up. Gavin ends up rescuing Kip, and they kind of have a history there. There's just a lot of twists and turns, different things that you don't really expect to happen occur, so just a lot going on. It's kind of a hard plot to describe. It's really, really interesting, but unfortunately it didn't really execute for me. I found it to be a little bit dull in a lot of places. It was definitely bogged down in a lot of detail. I don't think it was Brent Weeks' best work. I definitely think, so far as Night Angel Trilogy, was a lot better. I just found myself getting really distracted and pulled out of the world. I wasn't invested in any of the characters. A lot of them were annoying me. He tried to be really humorous in this book series, and the humor kind of fell flat. Just a lot of the things I just was not really into. It almost had too much description, too much world building. I really wasn't invested in the story, and it took me forever to get through because I just was lacking the motivation to pick it up. I ended up giving this book 2 out of 5 stars. I may try giving his next book in this series a go, because I hear that the books get better as the series goes on. But in terms of Brent Weeks' works, this is definitely one of my least favorite of his books, and I was just not the biggest fan of the story overall. The next book that I finished in the month of May was the 3rd and final book in the Broken Empire trilogy by Mark Lawrence, Emperor of Thorns. This book wraps up Jurg's story quite nicely, I think. It follows Jurg as he attempts to gain the throne, the Broken Empire. He's trying to unite the empire and get himself declared emperor. So it follows his progression going to the council that elects the emperor, so all the kings meet and try to elect somebody every couple of years, I believe. So he's on his way to that. He's with his wife, and then it keeps flashing back to 5 years later, as it has done in other novels. So basically it just wraps up the whole story. I don't want to give too much away because this is the third book in a series, so it's really hard not to spoil for other people. I thought it was not my favorite in the series. I definitely preferred the second book, I think, the best. I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. It just was a little bit more dull than the other ones, I think. I think it could have been a good 100 pages less than it was. Overall, I enjoyed it. I think that it wrapped up the series quite nicely. I do want to rate his other series, his next trilogy. This was not my favorite book in the series, hence the 3 out of 5 star rating. The next book I read in May was Camelot Burning by Catherine Rose. This is an Arthurian steampunk novel. It follows our main character, Vivian, who's a handmaid to the Queen Guinevere. Vivian kind of leads a double life. She is actually the apprentice to Merlin, who has given up magic and all of its evils in order to practice the mechanical arts which have been imported to Europe from Arabia. So basically that's where the steampunk element comes in, but of course Camelot becomes threatened by Morgan Le Fay, and Vivian gets caught up in all of this because she does have a larger role to play. I did do a review of this, which I will link down below if you're curious about it. I didn't really much care for this book. It fell flat. A lot of the characters were very much one-dimensional and kind of the same. It was very tropey. It just was not my favorite book overall. I did find the steampunk elements to be really interesting. It did have a lot of promise, so I do anticipate picking up the second book in this series because sometimes the second novel will be better than the first. So, because it held a lot of promise. I didn't want to quite give up this series yet, but overall I did not really enjoy it, and I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. The next book I finished in May was The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book in the Raven cycle, the first book being The Raven Boys. I really like this book. It continues the story, more focusing on Ronan and his character growth. I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting. I hated Ronan in the first book. I definitely like him a lot better after this one. It was just so good. I would say in terms of the overall plot, I didn't progress the plot that much, but I really like character-driven stories, and that is very much what this trilogy is. It's very much a character-driven story, and Maggie Stiefvater's writing is phenomenal. She has this way of just weaving words together in such a wonderfully beautiful and magical way that makes it just a joy to read. I really enjoyed it. I was captivated the whole way through, and I highly recommend this series. If you guys have been hearing about it and you're curious about it, definitely pick it up. It's very enjoyable, and I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. Next up is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I was very excited to get to this book. This is kind of a continuation of his Percy Jackson series, except for it focuses on other characters. Percy actually isn't really in this book at all. It focuses on Jason, who wakes up on a school bus, does not have any memories whatsoever of how he got there or who he is or anything. The story ends up getting started out by they are attacked, him and these 2 other students, Piper and Leo. They are attacked by these evil creatures, and they end up having to go to Camp Half-Blood, and a lot of interesting things ensue. Basically, we find out more about the Greek and the Roman gods, how they are the same, but yet how they are different. It was so good. I really love Leo. Leo was such a great character. This book was hilarious. I think I actually like this one more than I've liked a lot of the Percy Jackson ones. It was just, oh, so good, and I cannot wait to get to Son of Neptune, which I'm going to be doing next month. Highly enjoyable. If you love the Percy Jackson series, definitely pick up this book series because people are not joking when they said that it is excellent. Highly recommend it. Really fun and fast read. Very enjoyable, and I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The last novel I finished in the month of May was Emily of New Moon by Ella Montgomery. I was so excited to get to the series because I love her Anne of Green Gables series. It follows Emily, who is an orphan, and she is sent to live after the death of her father to her mother's family, the Murrays, and Prince Edward Island. The Murrays are very strict, very conservative. Emily is very much a free spirit, so there's definitely going to be some conflicts there. But it basically just follows Emily in her first couple of years at the New Moon farm and her relationships with the characters in the town, as well as her relations. It was just so good. It was just as heartwarming as the Anne of Green Gables series. I really enjoyed it, particularly the last half of the novel. I really enjoyed the most. It was just so good, sweet, and heartwarming. And if you love the Anne of Green Gables series, I highly recommend that you pick up Emily of New Moon. And even if you aren't done with Anne of Green Gables, you can still pick up this trilogy because they are unrelated and you will not be spoiled. But I really enjoyed it. Really fun read. Can't wait to get to the next one, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Now the next 2 things I finished in the month of May were graphic novels, or comics. The first one is the True comic series, Taster's Choice. This is volume 3. Really enjoyed it. Just as good as the other ones. I actually like this one the best in the series so far. Very hilarious. It ends on a cliffhanger, so I can't wait to get to volume 4. Just really enjoyed it, and I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. The last graphic novel I finished this month was one of my favorite things from this month, and that, whoa, That would have been bad. And that is In Search of Lost Dragons by Elian Blackmore and Corinne M. I really enjoyed it. This thing is so gorgeous. It follows this reporter who kind of gets himself lost in this land of dragons. It's like within our world, but next to our world. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused on how if he was still in our world or not. But basically, he ends up discovering the existence of dragons. He ends up working for the society who investigates fantastical creatures, and it kind of chronicles his adventures. It's like his journal and all of his art and things from it and photographs. And I mean, the art in this book is just simply phenomenal. As you can see, there is just so much detail, and the artwork is gorgeous, and it comes with a built-in bookmark, and just everything about this book is stunning. I just really enjoyed it. I read it in about a day. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Oh, this book is gorgeous. This is one of those books that I will definitely just go back just to look at the artwork and stuff, because it is just so well done and so gorgeous, and I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. Now, there were 3 books that I read in the month of May but did not finish, so I will tell you guys what those are. 2 of them are actually carryovers from April. I really need to finish them in June. The first one is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I just ended up falling behind on Year of Cosmere. I do have the audiobook, so I will be finishing this in the month of June. I'm really enjoying it so far. Definitely like it better than The Well of Ascension. A lot of interesting twists have already occurred, so I cannot wait to see what's going to happen and how this series wraps up. The next book is The Three Musketeers. I actually did not get anything read in this book this month. I need to fix that. I need to finish this series in April. I have just been so busy with buddy reads and things that it hasn't really happened, but I do anticipate finishing it in June, so it's going to happen. Last book that I started actually a couple of days ago and I'm already really enjoying is The Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in her live Ship Trader series. Really enjoying it. It is definitely a little bit slow to start, but it's definitely picking up right now, so I cannot wait to see what's going to happen and how everything wraps up. So definitely be finishing this in June, probably the first week of June, so can't wait, guys. Those are the books that I read or started in the month of May, and now I will tell you guys the books that I plan on reading in June. So the first book that I plan on reading in June is going to be Son of Neptune. This is book 2 in the Lost Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. Cannot wait to read it, especially after the way The Lost Hero finished, so I cannot wait to read it. It's going to be so exciting. The next book that I'm going to be picking up in June is going to be Steven Erikson's Gardens of the Moon. This is the first book in the Follow the Marathon. Cannot wait to read it. I am going to be reading it with Connor O'Brien, and I know Michael's going to be excited because this is one of his favorite series, so I cannot wait to see for myself. I'm sure I will like it, and I cannot wait. Next up was going to be The Once and Future King by T.H. White. This was supposed to happen last month, but both Ben from Bangity Bangs and I ended up falling behind in other reads, so we are going to be reading it in June, hopefully. I did get 100 pages into it several months ago, but now I need to finish it because I love me an Arthurian retelling. I also hope to get to book 2 in the live Ship Trader series, The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. I just can never have enough Robin Hobb in my life because Robin Hobb is a goddess and I love all of her books. Those are the books that I have set to read in June. I might pick up a few other books if I have time. I do want to get these ones finished and I want to start those. But if I do end up needing another book to read, I'm not quite sure what I will read yet. I definitely have a lot to choose from, so we shall see. But those are the ones that I have set to read. Alright guys, that was my May wrap-up and June TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite book was for the month of May and what your most anticipated read will be for June. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, happy reading. Bye!